Inkscape. So Inkscape is a shapes editor. You can put in a shape out here, and then you can deform it in certain ways. It allows you to do all sorts of neat things. You can make stars if the fill was correct. So like the fill and stroke, pretty important. Of course, the opacity, all sorts of neat things you can do with this. You can do a thickness of a border. So this is the fill, this is the stroke, and then you can put the stroke style on. The width is really low right now. I turn that up, and you can get more pixels. Must be really zoomed out. Anyway, so you get an idea for all that. I use Inkscape for fonts, for paths, for quick programmer art, that sort of thing. So what we want to do here is go ahead and change the document properties to be not all that big, probably 256 by 256. And when you save this out, the background is going to be transparent. And what I want to do is I want to do a gradient, and probably a little bit more in the center. There we go. And you can hold down the control key to keep the size somewhat uniform, just like a lot of other programs. I don't know why I'm getting a pie shape here. Shouldn't be doing that. Dadgummit. There we go. And I really don't want a stroke on this, so I'm going to turn that off. And then the fill, got to make sure it's grayscale, because then we can tint it to any color we want when we get into the game. And I want it to be a radial gradient. Bring the gradient in a little bit. And let's see if I can edit this. So I'll go ahead and export this out. So we want to do the page 256 by 256, so it's a power of 2. So now that it's now that it has been exported, we'll just go ahead and import it over here. I think I'm going to put it in the atlas. So that should save some space. Put the round gradient here. And GUI allows you to dynamically add in textures to your atlas, and there's plenty of space in this atlas. As you can see, there's a lot of empty space here. Hopefully enough. It is a 1024 by 1024. So we'll just go up to NGUI and find the atlas maker and put the round gradient in there. Let's say at 1024 by 1024. Now when we come back up here and look at the atlas, there it is. So now we have our sprite here, and we can select it. Yay. So let's go ahead and snap this to 256 and 512 by 512 and 768. Put this up to 600. Okay. And then the color tint. I don't know. What should we make this? Make it green. Let's make it yellow. Bright yellow. Alright. That looks okay. I think. Whatever. Okay. So when you're going to make a flash, probably do it in an animation, so I'll make a new game object. And the reason for that is because, actually I'll make two game objects. So put one in the other. Reset it. This one in the panel. And put the sprite down underneath this third one. Okay, so why did I do all that? Well, this is how it works. Animations modify, I'm going to name this flash animation. Animations modify position, rotation, and scale over time. If you want to ever move it, look at that, I screwed it up. If you ever want to move this object, if you wanted to move this animation here around in the scene, whenever the animation played, it would be popping back to this location. But if you have the animation nested, it can move around and you can have the animation play anywhere. It's just a good practice to have your animation nested underneath the game object and then have your source or your target objects that you want to animate underneath that animation. And then the animations can get pretty complex. There it is. Of course, it's under miscellaneous. Okay, so this animation is here. We can go ahead and edit the animation. And we add a curve. And this brings up the new animation system. Of course, it's going to show all my directory structure again. I already have a few animations here. We're just going to call this Flash. Or I guess we could just call it Logo Flash. Something like that. There we go. Now we can add a curve. And I want to transform the scale of this object. So we're going to go ahead and add that curve in. We're on the dope sheet, and then you also add the curves over here. Then you add your scale. So the scale here is the same at the beginning and the end. So I'm going to go ahead and add in a few more these are called keyframes. I want to have this start out small. So I'm going to go ahead and change the scale of the object down to something pretty low. Let's just change it to 0. So it starts off with nothing. Now as it plays out, it will grow and then we want it to shrink back down. I guess we'll go with 0 again. And then we want it to play in a very rapid time frame. So let's go with a small time frame there. I'm sort of getting a flash. Preview it. I don't like that. It is taking so long. Too many frames. Get in closer. Bring it down another notch. Very nice. So this is going to play automatically. And since we edited it here, it automatically saves to the file for each change. So we don't have to worry about that. We can just close that down. But the animation won't play, and that's because it hasn't filtered in here. So you just go up to your animations directory and put the logo flash there. And now when the game plays, it should call it that. It should play our flash. Another thing I noticed was our particles suck. When the game loads, it actually has all the cards sitting there in the scene. But let's just go ahead and see how this works. And I couldn't even see the flash because probably it occurred too early. So let's go ahead and try this again. No. Flash is happening too fast. Okay. Also, this game logo is too far back. Let's go ahead and bring that forward a little bit. So it's sort of on top of the flash now. It's just not dark enough. There we go. Whatever. That's close enough. this in front of the particles. Probably won't work. Alright, let's go ahead and put a delay on this animation. And how you do that is move this little guy out, add it. Don't want to add an animation event. I want to add a keyframe. Dadgummit. My screen is so large that it's easy for me to click on the wrong things. Alright, let's give it a little bit of time of doing nothing. So it'll do nothing for a small amount of time and then it'll flash. Probably not enough time. We'll see. I'll just turn it off for now, so when we play the game, it'll still be there, but a clone will be made. So the animation was too short still. Put it out to 1 second. And now it looks like shit, but we'll just test it out this way when the game runs. And I think that pretty much does it. For right now, I had that random amount of particles coming out earlier because I changed the emission rate to different values. 20, and I'll just make this one 40. So now when it comes out, it'll all be different. That should keep us moving along in the right direction of making the start screen a little bit more interesting. So I guess that's going to be it for this video. I will talk to y'all later. Bye.